I'm your host, Jennifer Hires, and I want to welcome you to the Lumberyard, your backstage pass to the evolving world of construction workforce management, compliance, and technology. And each week we bring together voices from across the industry, contractors, CFOs, project managers, tech leaders, to break down the complex challenges construction businesses face and the innovative strategies that help them thrive. From digital transformation and financial optimization to labor tracking, compliance, and emerging AI application, this podcast delivers real world insights, expert advice, and practical tools to help construction pros work smarter, stay compliant, and build better.
All right, welcome to the Lumberyard. Today, we truly do have a remarkable guest, Renee Glendenning. So, Renee's career path is really nothing short of extraordinary. She started as a dance instructor, gracefully transitioned into a role at NASA, and eventually found her calling in the construction industry. Now, as the founder of her own construction business and champion of quality control, she's proving that adaptability, resilience, and strong interpersonal skills can open doors to limitless opportunities. So, in this episode, we're going to really explore Renee's unique professional journey, the lessons she's learned along the way, and how she's using her expertise to really raise the bar in construction quality and education. From the discipline of dance to the precision of engineering, Renee's story is one of the transformation, determination, and leadership. So sit back, tune in, and get ready for an inspiring conversation with Renee. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for having me.
Awesome. Well, let's just dive right into questions. There's so many that I want to cover. Um, First and foremost, what inspired your shift from being a dance instructor to working with NASA and then later founding your own construction business?
I had a helicopter mom. Have you ever met one of those?
I love it.
Yeah, no, that's honestly the truth. I love her to death, but I was a dance instructor and I was really heading towards that path of kind of wanting my own studio. And she went, not sure that, you can do that forever. And the studio I was part of growing up is just phenomenal. And my instructor, unfortunately, is no longer with us on this plane, but her studio lives on. And so there would be no way to try to compete with that in my local area. And so my mom said, you really need to keep going to school. And then my head's always been in the stars and I wanted to be an astronomer. And my mom said, well, how many famous astronomers do you know? Like 1, 2. And so I ended up getting into engineering and I got my degree in mechanical engineering and I went on to work for Thiokol. They were a contractor for NASA. And so we built the recoverable solid rocket motors for the shuttle program. Now I'm really dating myself. And so that's what I did. And I worked with their facilities group. And that really gave me a taste of construction. And right away, I could see that over the wall engineering where you design and then you may or may not ever see it come to fruition was just not my jammy jam. And I really wanted to be a part of the actual building. And I wanted to see the end result and how that affected clients and customers and end users. And that really appealed to me. So from there, I went into the semiconductor industry and the market fell out of the bottom of the semiconductor industry in the 90s, early 2000s. And I needed a new gig. So I got in contact with another project manager who was doing a lot of federal construction. And she was looking for a quality control manager. And she said, you've got government work. You're not afraid of red tape. You're not afraid of paperwork. Come try this out. Come do some core engineer projects for me. And the rest was just history. I got into federal government contracting and loved it. Loved the quality control role. Went on to manage a large quality control department for a general contractor across 15 states. So I had QC spread across the U.S. And then from there, several of us, my partner and I, broke off and started our own construction firm. It was based in Colorado along the Front Range, and we were part of the 8A program. So if you're familiar with the SBA and the federal contracting 8A program, and
Yep.
finished that program out. Neither one of us wanted a real legacy. We weren't building a legacy company. We kind of both wanted different directions. And so since then, I broke off and started my own quality control company. And we train and give quality control support to contractors across the globe. So it's really exciting now to get to give back and help those. There was no training when I started QC. I was dumped in the field with a pod, literally a pod, one of those moving pods, and a generator and a spec book. And they were like, go figure this out. And so instantly I was like, where do I get real world training? And it was non-existent. And so getting to save other individuals from that kind of stress has really became my passion. So so that's
you
elevator speech.
Yeah, right. Like, what does that career transition look like? And you mentioned in your LinkedIn profile that over the years you struggled as a quality control manager due to the lack of that real world applicable construction quality control manager training in our construction industry. And really, you became successful through the school of hard knocks. So,
if there's something to screw up, I've done it.
That's how we learn, right? So how have you, in the construction industry, you really emphasize the importance of quality control and reputation. So how do you implement, maintain rigorous quality control standards like in projects today?
It's really important, and we're up against an awful lot right now. Mostly just budgets. Budgets are so tight for everyone. Those of us that survived COVID, we got one little breath, and now the world stage and the tariffs and the economy. I mean, it's just really shifting construction again, and a lot of companies dual hat QC, and some of them will dual hat it with a safety manager, and some of them will dual hat it with a project engineer. And I do not care what you call it as long as you have it, because it's vitally important. I've seen it. I've seen it with the success of my own company, and I've seen it across the board. Small businesses and large businesses, we're only as good as our last project. And that's the truth. And one project can take any company down, no matter how big or small you are. And that quality control is what it has to be set up to be reactive, as a proactive and not reactive. Because if you're reactive and you're chasing your tail, you're not catching the issues that could bring apart your downfall. And I'm just a huge advocate of quality control in construction. And sometimes I feel like I'm screaming to the wind because it's not a role that, those that are in residential construction or commercial construction, they don't necessarily have those people on the staff. And of course, it's like safety. They'll all say, oh, yeah, it's important. We care. We care about quality. We care about safety. But if you don't have someone in the field trained that's actually doing the checks and the inspections for you, it's not going to deliver those kinds of results. So.
No, it's not. So let's talk about like interpersonal skills. You've highlighted the role of interpersonal skills in quality control. Can you share like strategies for effective communication and that relationship building within construction teams?
Yeah, communication and being an active listener. I don't want to sound all touchy fuzzy, because I know there's a lot of touchy fuzzy words in the industry now, but it's important. It's really important how you come across. And, inspectors back in the day when I was starting QC, they would just run through the site and start taking pictures, but that makes everybody really nervous. And if you just take 2 seconds to be a good human and say, hey, I really like your cable tray. I like what you're doing here. I'm going to take a picture because I'd like to use it as an example on other projects. I mean, that changes the whole tone. There's no need to be a dictators don't work in our industry anymore. It's just not the way. And so taking 2 seconds to be a good human and communicating and getting to know your teams and your subcontractors and just talking to folks. Get in the dirt, put your boots on. Please put your boots on and get in the dirt and just be a human and just listen, right? Listen, be an active listener as much as you are a communicator. QCs need to be organized. They need communication and they need to be good listeners. And if you've got those 3 things, I have trained labor foremen and made them into QC managers. I have trained telemarketers and made them successful QC managers. I can train you to be a good QC manager as long as you have that open mind, you're a good human, and you're You just have to
I
like the
love that.
work. So.
I love that. I love that. So let's talk about those educational initiatives, with your involvement in Quality Control University, what motivated you to focus on education in this field, and what impact do you really hope to achieve at the end of the day?
I'm like that poem about the little boy, the little girl on the beach with the starfish. Have you heard that one?
Mhm.
And they're hucking
No,
the
share.
starfish are all beached, and they're hucking the starfish
Mhm.
back one at a time in the ocean. And the old
Uh,
man comes by and he says, there are thousands of starfish. You're not going to save them all. And the little
mm.
kid looked at the old man and said, but I'm going to save this one. And I'm going to throw it back. And I'm going to
Oh,
save this one. And I'm going to throw it back. So I
I love.
know that there's no way to change everybody's mind about quality control. But the
Mm,
clients that come to me and they want to train their companies in quality control, those are my aha moments. And I'm going to be able to make an impact to their bottom line and the longevity of their company. And the QC managers that come looking for training because, their employer may not offer it, and they need their job and they don't want to
mhm.
lose their job and they want to be good at their job. Quality control is a wonderful career that very few people understand. It's an easy 6-figure salary career that gives you the ability to be in the dirt and have that feel of the team with the craftsmen, but yet you're
Mm,
also part of management. To me, it's just the best of all the worlds. Even when I had my construction company, all the young pups coming out of school, they all wanted the titles and they all want to be project manager and
yeah,
construction manager. And that's
yeah.
okay. We need those folks. We need them. But I would always giggle and say, all right, we'll put you on that track because I want you to get what you want out of your career. But just keep in the back of your head, because 50% or more will always come back. They come back to me and they
Hmm.
want to do
Hmm.
quality control. So that's what motivates me. Every single client I get to work with, I get to make that difference. They're my starfish that I get to throw back in the
I
ocean
love this.
and help them. So that's why I do what I do now. It just brings me so much joy to be able to see that kind of impact and to talk to the young people. I'm part of schools and some of my local universities and some of my local
Mm.
community colleges let me come and talk to the students. And it's just nice to be able to grab the people going in the future of construction and let them know about the importance of quality control and the opportunities that it can give as a career. So
And to our listeners out there, I can see Renee in video, and if you're just listening and not actually watching, right, your face is light, just so bright when you talk about
exciting.
being able to, save those starfish one at a time. So let's talk about, aspiring professionals in our construction industry. We do have um, something going on where we have a labor shortage. So, what guidance would you offer to individuals looking to make significant career changes or enter our construction industry?
Yeah, number one, don't let somebody else's box stop you. So
Mm,
it's really easy to put a box. My husband came up through the trades, and he is a quality advisor for BP Light Source now. And so he and I run the company together. And when we go speak, it's always fun because I went through the path of a degreed engineer. So I went, the straight educational path, and he went the trades. And we both ended up at the same place. And so when
mm,
the kids find that out, it's like some of them you can see a shift, like, oh, well, maybe I don't have to do this, and maybe it's okay to do this. And just don't let anybody else's box define you. If you really love the construction industry, we want you and we need you. And it doesn't matter if you're a dance instructor right now or you're a kid as a senior and you decide that further education as far as going to college, I mean, keep learning. You have to keep learning. But
yeah,
college path
yeah.
is not for you. It's okay. You can still
Hmm.
make huge differences. You can love the career you're in. So just ultimately don't let anybody's box define you.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then when it comes to adaptability, right? Your career path showcases significant adaptability. So how have you really navigated these transitions? And then what challenges did you encounter with your career path?
It's really easy for me to put a big positive spin on it. But when I go and I talk to groups, specifically the girls, I get to talk to a lot of the girls wanting to go into STEM, It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to always be an easy path. I wish
Mm-hmm.
that I've got a 9-year-old daughter, and of course, she's the boss, and she's got
Mm-hmm.
leadership skills. That's what we call it, her bossiness. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but we raised her to know she can do anything, but we also raised her to know that not all paths are going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. I wish our world was a little bit different, and I know we're making great strides. When we think about it, a lot of the women, my grandmother was alive when women got the right to vote. So that's
Wow.
not very many generations. That just always brings it back to me, like, hey, so I know we've accomplished a lot, but there are struggles, and there are those that might not see our value in a male
Mm-hmm.
dominated field. And there's going to be struggles, and we can talk about that for hours and hours. But
Okay.
the bottom line is, just if you want to be there and you love the work,
Mm-hmm.
don't get into the industry if you just want to get on a soapbox. We've got a lot of those, and it's just a salmon running up a stream head on. Be in the industry
Okay.
because you love the work, and the respect will follow. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would tell him. I would tell everybody. And then I spent many, many years wanting to blend into the background. So the
Mm.
way I managed that was, Renee could be a boy's name. So when people got my resume, they didn't know they were getting a girl usually until I walked
Oh,
into the door.
interesting.
and I
Shock
was
on their face.
and I was okay with that. I thought, all right, I'm just gonna walk in, and then when you meet me, I'll bedazzle you with jazz hands.
Yeah.
So I spent many, many years in my career working really, really hard to not accentuate the fact that I was a girl. And then I went through some personal development training to be a better manager. I wanted to be a better boss. And so I went through
Mm-hmm.
emotional intelligence, and then I got a life coach. And
Mm-hmm.
my life coach, she kicked me in the butt. And she said, you've spent X amount of years trying to blend into the background and hide being a female in the industry. But did you ever stop to think that the traits that make you so good at what you do are because
Mm-hmm.
you're a female? Females
Mm-hmm.
are different. We think different, right? Our
Yep.
organization is different. And so I always tell the girls, don't blend into the background. Don't get on a soapbox, but don't try to
I
blend
do.
into
Yeah.
the background. Just enjoy the industry that you're in and be you. Life is too short. It's a little short dance. We're only here for a little time. Find something that you're passionate about and something that you love doing, and then give it 150%. And it's going to work out. It's going to work out. So,
Yeah, don't blend in the background. Create a brand for yourself, right? What sets you apart? And to your point, don't go by that box, right? We
no.
can put so many people in that construction industry inside a box. This is how you're
We
supposed to
do.
be.
And we do it at a young
Yeah,
age.
we
Like,
do.
and even the tradesmen, my husband talks to this really good, but the sheet metal union versus the pipe fitter union versus
Mhm.
the iron workers, and electricians hate the mechanical guys.
Yeah,
And so everybody's put into a box no matter which path you go in. And I'm all about just breaking out of the box.
yeah. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I do want to go back a little bit with your dance, because I just find that so unique. Again, like you didn't start in the construction industry, it was a dance. So, how have those skills and discipline from your dance background influenced your approach to like leadership and management in construction?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I have had whole workforces doing a cabbage patch. I call it my happy dance when we pass inspection. So I wish I had more videos of those boys busting moves, because I can get them to do it. But in
I
all
love this.
seriousness, I really think that the patience and the fact that not everyone learns the same way. So
Hmm.
explaining something, asking for something, trying to communicate something, you can see it in someone's eyes if they're getting it or not. You can see
Hmm.
within 30 seconds if they're going to glaze over. And if they glaze
Hmm.
over, you need to stop and take a breath, and you need to explain it another way. And I think
Hmm.
any teacher understands that. And I think it's
Hmm.
really important. And that's probably, out of everything from teaching dance that I got, that helps me on this career path. It's just understanding that not everyone is going to understand the same way, whether you're an engineer trying to talk about plans, or you're a subcontractor talking to a GC, or a GC trying to manage a project. Not everyone's going to understand the same way. There's visual learners. And for those guys, it's flow charts on the walls and the job trailers, right? And sticky notes.
Yeah.
There's those of us that love, I should have bought stock with a sticky note.
I think all of us.
I am a type A list person, sticky notes everywhere.
You have a list for your list. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone learns a different way. And I really think that that's an important communication tool, is to stop and understand that. And that's another reason why in our training, we have monthly Q&A live calls, because we have narrated training, so they can listen to us go through the modules, but it's not going to hit home with everybody. And some people may hate that. And they just need to get on the phone, and they just need to talk to someone, and they need to ask a question. And this is what I'm seeing and why. And I think that my dance instruction days, that's probably the most part that I use on a daily basis.
I love that. I love that. Well, let's then talk about your journey as an entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah.
What were those key challenges that you faced when establishing your construction business? And again, how did you overcome those?
It's crazy. They will let anybody start a company. I started my construction business, and I was an engineer, and you think, I had a couple decades in the industry almost under my belt, and you just think, I can do this. I understand the work, and I can bid the work. There's so much more to owning your own company. And there's so many folks out there, and I was one of them, that surround themselves with really good people, but they don't understand like your balance sheets, right? Your P&Ls, how bank and bond looks at them. It's different. Everybody looks at different parts of those different ways. And it was about my second or third year in the industry, and I realized that if I lost certain folks on my staff, I would be in a hole, because I did not understand that part of my business that they were taking and running for me. And so I was lucky enough that the SBA had an emerging leaders program, and it was like a streetwise MBA is what it was. And so we went through that, and I did that for about 8 months and learned from the bottom up all of the business knowledge that I needed before I started my company.
That's brilliant.
It helped tremendously. So what I tell those folks that want to have their own construction firm and get in the industry is just, please go get an MBA, go get some business training, and understand that everybody's replaceable. Even the owner of a business. Businesses sell and get sold and get bought every day. Everybody is replaceable. And it's really, really important that when you're driving that ship, that you understand every single facet. Not that you micromanage every facet, because that's different. Because then your business runs you, and it's different. So,
agreed.
But it is very important that you understand. So that when bank and bond and insurance and all those important aspects to being a business owner comes calling, that you understand what they're looking at and that what's important to them. And then you can make sure that you build your business for that success, because it takes so much. It's not like I'm just going to wake up today and I'm going to go buy an LLC online and I'm just going to make this work. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Renee, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Just love hearing your story again, where you started out at and then where you are today. So would love to have you come back on the
Absolutely.
show. We can always dive more into that quality control. Let our listeners know, where can they find you?
Yes, we are online. We are the Quality Control University. So it's qcuniversity.net. We're on LinkedIn, and we are on Instagram and all the socials, right? We're everywhere. If you're looking for quality control, we're hard to miss. So come find us and shoot us a message. And if you got any questions, we are more than open just to talk, because we love that. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining the show, and we look forward to hopefully having you back in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jennifer.
All right. And thank you, listeners, for joining yet another episode of The Lumberyard.